Ladies and gentlemen, once again, another action-packed day full of news, full of Chelsea news flying left, right, and center. Do you know what? We're not gonna do our intro video anymore. We are in the process of making a new video. A lot of people keep thinking the logo on the video represents Kai Havertz. I can understand why people are thinking that, but let me make something very, very clear. I've made it so many times clear, but I'm going to go out there and do it once more time, hopefully once and for all. That is not a Kai Havertz image. I've got no affiliations with Kai Havertz. Number 29 is my date of birth, 29th of May. Yeah, that's my date of birth. So number 29 is something significant to me. And that whole logo, it's just a caricature. It's got nothing to do with Havertz. I can understand why people might think that way because of the number 29. So for the time being, we're not going to play the video, the intro video. We're working on a new one. So hang tight for that. But let's get into the news. Yeah, look, first up, this is a particular news, ladies and gentlemen, that is doing the rounds. And there's a lot of fans, Chelsea fans, that are a bit irate about Mudryk, about this particular comment. Let's have a look at the comment first. Shakhtar coach Carlo Nicolini, Shakhtar coach, so not the Ukrainian coach or anyone related from Chelsea. It's the Shakhtar coach Carlo Nicolini saying Chelsea is not a team. Individual players struggle there. In the national team, you can see the real Mykhailo Mudryk. He can do even more. Look, these sort of comments, they're detrimental to the player. You can just imagine how people in social media will take something like that and will start becoming a little bit toxic towards Mudryk. Is it right? Of course it's not right. But these type of individuals, you have to realize what you're saying, who your audience is. Is it going to be a positive comment towards the player? I mean, of course, I can see what Carlo Nicolini is trying to do. Is trying to, big up his, ex-player Mykhailo Mudryk, who used to play for Shakhtar Donetsk. But in this situation, what it's created is a whole heap of toxicity in social media from Chelsea fans who are now having a dig at Mykhailo Mudryk. Look, all I'm going to say is that Carlo Nicolini, first of all, I think best if you can try and keep your mouth shut, especially when you're saying Chelsea's not a team. Individual players struggle there. I mean, if anything, in recent times, I think we are seeing far more of a team in Chelsea. Obviously, since the new ownership came in, it's been a very topsy-turvy situation. But him being a professional, Carlo Nicolini, a coach, I don't think it's wise to talk in this manner. Everyone has the right to say whatever they want to say, no problems. But I don't think it's wise to come out there and just, slam another team in the likes of Chelsea openly in the media. And then at the same time, trying to back up Mykhailo Mudryk by saying that he plays better in the international scene. Look, no need to do that. Mykhailo Mudryk has a lot of hard work still to have. Like, Mykhailo Mudryk at Chelsea Football Club is not getting treated in a discriminating manner. Like, there's no discrimination against him. There's no hatred towards him. There's no animosity. Like, the reason why he's not playing that often for Chelsea is, one, he's been injured. He gets these little injuries here and there, and two, there's a lot of development that he still needs to accomplish. Like, he's not the final product yet. Yeah, we can argue that in order for him to develop, he needs to play a lot more games. Of course he does, but there's a tad bit of competition at Chelsea Football Club. There are other players that are competing for the same spots. May not be the case in Ukraine, where he might be the standout winger. So, and even for Ukraine, I've seen Mykhailo Mudryk drop disaster classes for Ukraine as well. So, look, I think this commentary from Shakhtar coach Carlo Nicolini is harsh, is at a certain point, I feel a little bit misguided as well. And it's definitely not wise. So, look, now he's created a bit of a situation where Chelsea fans are going against Mykhailo Mudryk, which I don't think is right. But I think this particular brother, Carlo Nicolini, needs to understand Mykhailo Mudryk isn't the finished product. He's got a long way to go. Let me know, ladies and gentlemen, in the comment section how you feel about this particular quote from Nicolini. Now, before we move on to other topics, I want to just quickly touch base on this. As I told you guys, we want to make sure we're on top of this particular news as it's developing. Check this out. More clubs are now coming out in breach. I suppose more news is coming out in regards to this, where clubs are breaching the financial fair play rules and regulation. Exclusive Time Sport investigation revealed Spurs and Defoe appeared to break agent rules, but FA did nothing. So, as I've been saying, since all of these stories have been coming out in recent times, if you do a forensic style of investigation, accounting investigation on every single one of these Premier League clubs, they're all culpable. They're all culpable. When you're dealing with millions and millions and to a certain degree billions, it's too hard. It's too hard to try and track exactly where the funds are going. There are always going to be some sneaky movements of funds. There's always going to be some, illegal movements of funds. And this is another news story that has come out. Now Spurs are in the hot waters as well. So we've already had Everton, who have breached the profitability, sustainable profitability rules. So they've been running at a loss, and they're in trouble, and they've got the deduction. You've got Chelsea. We've seen the accusations as to illegal payments and offshore misuse of funds and whatnot. And then you've got Manchester City with 115 breaches, and now you've got Spurs, and more team will come out very, very soon. More leaks, more investigations are going to happen across many different clubs very soon. So watch this space, ladies and gentlemen. Yet another club now in trouble. We'll see exactly what goes on. Next up, Christopher Nkunku is expected back in full training soon and could finally make his Chelsea debut against Newcastle on Saturday. This has been the news over the past, I'd say, about four weeks. Fantastic news. I think Vince, who's a ex-account holder, some of you guys might follow already, he's actually mentioned something very, very very interesting about this particular topic, which is all of these journalists are saying that Nkunku is potentially going to be back for the Newcastle match. What they're failing to probably report to us is Nkunku apparently still hasn't taken any part in team training. So, look, yes, there's still a few more days left until he can participate in team training, but I don't expect Christopher Nkunku to have any sort of involvement against Newcastle. He may be in the bench, but he may not be utilized. And if he is utilized, maybe he might get utilized for 5 minutes or max 10 minutes at that. So I'm excited. I'm so excited that this particular, after this international break, and international break is coming to an end very soon, you best believe Christopher Nkunku is coming back. So I'm very excited about that. But at the same time, I want to make sure that, we're not rushing him back. We are easing him back nice and slowly. But this particular news now moves on to this news. West Ham United could move for Chelsea striker Armando Broja in January to ease the attacking woes. Now, there is a situation that's brewing here. For God knows how long, maybe even since last summer, there's been talks about Chelsea buying that elite level striker, right? So there's conversations about Ivan Toney. There's conversations about Victor Osimhen, recently Evan Ferguson. One thing we need to understand, once Christopher Nkunku comes back, I think most likely he's going to play as a striker. That's just my personal belief. You guys can let me know what you think in the comment section. I think he's going to come in as a striker. Now, when that happens, you also got Nicholas Jackson, who, yes, will be going for African Cup of Nations as well. But if we do end up getting someone in January, which I don't think we are, but if we do, I think someone like Armando Broja might have to leave Chelsea Football Club. He'll become surplus to requirements. Nicholas Jackson, I think he probably leaves around mid-Jan, and if they go all the way till the end, he probably comes back around mid-Feb. It all depends. Are Chelsea going to take a punt with Nkunku being the only striker up front? Potentially could play Cole Palmer there as well at times. And then that might also force Armando Broja out. Or Do they just keep everyone in for the time being if they don't get a striker at all? So that's the other factor. If we do end up getting a striker, I think the conversation's finished. Armando Broja will definitely then have to move on. But look, it's a sad situation, but the way it's kind of building up at the moment is Armando Broja probably will have to move on. I would like to just see him a little bit more at Chelsea Football Club, but looks like at the moment we just don't have the patience and the capacity to wait for Armando Broja to come into fruition. We've got games to win, we've got targets to achieve, and it's just a sorry state at the moment. So next up, ladies and gentlemen, Chelsea hope to finally offload Romelu Lukaku next summer, with Roma keen to make his loan move permanent. Despite his form, Chelsea remain keen to sell Lukaku. This brother, look, I'm glad he's killing it in Roma, and I hope Roma does trigger that. He has a exit clause, release clause at the moment. I think Romelu Lukaku, before he joined Roma, we imposed a release clause on his contract so that he can part ways with Chelsea in next summer. I think it's somewhere around 40 million euros. So hopefully he kills it, and hopefully Roma can trigger that. Or it's not just Roma; it's actually available for anyone, to be honest. So hopefully this brother can move on and this saga can end for us. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, this is a bit of an issue for us. We do have to find a solution. Bayern will sign a centre-back in January, but Trevoh Chalobah from Chelsea is no longer a priority. Bayern Munich looks like they're out of the race. I think there were conversations as well that Borussia Dortmund was once upon a time interested, but they're also not keen with Trevoh Chalobah. Now this has become a bit of a conundrum for us. We do have to find a home for Trevoh Chalobah. Hopefully a Premier League club can come in and give us a decent amount of money. Trevoh Chalobah is a decent defender, and once again finds himself in this position where Armando Broja, as I just said, surplus to requirements. We've just got too many centre-backs at the moment. We've got too many centre-backs. The crazy part is we're looking to buy even more. So clearly Trevoh Chalobah is not in the plan. And he's a academy player. If you guys, he's an academy player. You all would know that pure profit comes into play when you sell Trevoh Chalobah. And we also have financial fair play issues. So we'll be looking to most likely selling him and making sure all of that pure profit goes straight into our books. But at the moment, there is no home for him. So we have to find a potential suitor ASAP. And Trevoh Chalobah has got to get his agent to find a potential suitor as well. Next up, Levi Colwill and Malo Gusto are now expected to return ahead of Chelsea's trip to Newcastle on Saturday, with both Nkunku and Lavia having potentially 4 more training sessions to prove their fitness to Mauricio Pochettino's staff. Great news. Looks like a lot of players are slowly returning back, which is fantastic. Post this international break, there's a lot of games coming up, and we need players coming back into the squad. And the number of injured players is slowly but surely reducing, and hopefully we can keep them fit. If majority of the players are staying fit throughout this December period, I think we're going to do a bit of a madness. So this is great news. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, Chelsea, Newcastle, Sheffield United, Manchester City, Everton, Wolves and Forest voted against the ban of not being allowed to sign players on loan from partner teams. So there was some news that was circling around not that long ago that there may be a potential move to ban this inter-club loan move. So, for example, Chelsea and Strasbourg. Strasbourg is a sister club to us, same sort of multi-dimensional structure. There was going to be a ban imposed for this upcoming January window, just for the time being, until they make a definite decision down the track, was that they won't allow, so the Premier League or FA or whatever, obviously they'll put it up for a vote, but they won't allow movement between interclubs, so Chelsea to Strasbourg, Strasbourg to Chelsea, and Manchester City has a lot of clubs within their multi-dimensional model as well. So they weren't allowed to do that. Obviously, Newcastle linked with the Saudis, Al Hilal especially. They won't allow Ruben Neves going to Newcastle and this, that, the other. But apparently, looks like, as per this particular report, this vote has been blocked, and these are the teams that have blocked it: Chelsea, Newcastle, Sheffield United, Manchester City, Everton, Wolves, and Forest. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 clubs. I think you needed 6 clubs. You need 14 clubs to say yes, and then the rule is passed. But there's 7 clubs that have said no against the ban of not being allowed to sign players on loan from partner teams. There you go. So 7 clubs have said no to this, and this rule is not going to be imposed. And looks like these teams and other teams as well are going to be allowed to move players around within their partner team. So let's see what happens. It'll be interesting to see what Newcastle does. It'll be interesting to see what we do. Do we still send more players to Strasbourg or anywhere else? I don't know whether we can, unless we call back certain players and then send them. So for example, Andre Santos, for instance, we could potentially call him back and then send him wherever we want to, maybe Strasbourg. We'll see. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of today's Chelsea news. Let me know what you felt about everything we spoke about, especially in the beginning when we touched about Shakhtar Donetsk coach Carlo Nicolini and in regards to Mudryk. Let me know in the comment section how you feel about that. Smash the like button if you're here for the first time. Subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Until next time, see ya.